Hey, what's going on, guys? From Gaming here, back in another video. Today's episode, we're going to be going over a macro guide for Restoration Shaman. Really, this is mainly for Mythic Plus, but you could also take this into Raid. And I just want to go over some macros, some general setup that can hopefully save you up some keybinds or just make your healing life a little bit easier. So first thing I like to do is enable Mouseover Casting. So what this means is if you're in a group, for example, and you want to cast a spell on this target member, let's say that this is the tank, and I want to cast, let's say, a healing surge on them without having to left click that target, this would be a Mouseover cast. And this is going to be great for any specialization because it's going to take a click out of what you're doing. So now to heal this target, I don't have to left click and then heal. I just take my mouse over their frames and press my heal button without clicking, and now I'm going to heal them. Now, to give you a little bit better example, we do have a little rogue friend down here that we can heal. You don't have to hover over their frames. That's going to be easier. But just to show you, I can go over to this guy. Oh, he moved on us. We're going to have to jump down. But I can go over this guy. I can hover right over his name without left-clicking on him. And I can heal him. Same thing with this shaman here on this big mount. I can come over here, cast a Riptide on him. I didn't even have to left-click him. So that's going to save you some clicks. That's going to save you some time in healing, and it's going to be less confusing when you're in a tight spot healing. The less things to click, the better. So what we can do is we can go to options. We can go to our search bar here, type in the word Mouseover, and enable Mouseover Cast, and make sure that this option is select to none. Now, if you want, you can bind this to something like Control, Alt, Shift, whatever, to enable the Mouseover feature, but I like to leave it as none. I like it to always be enabled. Now, another thing I'm going to talk about here is something called AtCursor Cast. So if you take a look at my surging totem here, normally this has the green circle around it, and it lets you place your surging totem wherever you want. If you're not totemic, this is called Healing Rain for you. Just kind of show you what I'm talking about here. It's this green circle here, and we want to avoid this green circle on most specializations in the game because it's an extra click for us, and we don't want to click more. We want to be using our time healing people, not clicking a whole bunch. So we have an AtCursor macro for our surging totem, and I will show you what that looks like. So here it is. It's very simple. Just cast AtCursor surging totem. And one thing that's really nice about this is also going to work with our downpour, which comes right after our surging totem. So we'll cast it. We did not get the green circle, which is great. And then we have downpour that we can cast here. So we'll press it again, and we didn't have to target anything for downpour. Now, with that being said, I don't think downpour is targeted or anything anymore. So I guess just know it doesn't break the macro. Downpour doesn't break the macro in any way. Now, one thing that's really cool, and it's kind of unique to Resto Shaman. I guess it's not unique to Resto Shaman, but Resto Shaman takes advantage of this a little bit better than a lot of other specs, is our help and harm macros. So if you take a look here at my Flameshock, when I hover over an ally, it changes to Riptide. And when I hover off, it goes back to Flameshock. This is great on Resto Shaman because we have so many different spells and we have so much button bloat. It's really nice to be able to combine two spells into one button. So here's the macro that drives this. I have it called Riptide. Probably need to change that to like Riptide / Flameshock, but slash cast, Mouseover, help nodead, Riptide, Flameshock. So you can actually pair this with other spells besides Riptide and Flameshock. So Chain Heal, Chain Lightning, Healing Wave, Lava Burst, and then Healing Surge, and you could do something like Lightning Bolt. Up to you how you do that, but I highly recommend to do it on Resto Shaman. It just fits the build really well. Fits the spec really well, I guess. So to show you what that looks like one more time, we can go on this target. We can hover him. We don't have to left click. And then we can hover this guy and cast a Riptide to heal him. And you just go back and forth. And this also works with unit frames. You can see as I hover over a unit frame, it changes to Riptide. And then another one I want to talk about here is a cast sequence macro for our trinkets. So you don't necessarily have to use this. And sometimes I'd almost recommend not to do something like this, especially on a healer. And typically you see stuff like this on DPS specs more than healers because this can be a little bit overkill in terms of healing. Really just depends, but it's really never a bad idea to use your trinket with your strongest ability, which in our case is Ascendance. I mean, really it's Spirit Link, but Ascendance is extremely strong as well. And it's on a 2-minute cooldown, and our trinkets are on a 2-minute cooldown. So they're going to line up every single time. So if you get two things to where their cooldowns line up, you want to put them in a cast sequence with unused trinkets. So what this does is I press it, it pops Ascendance, and it pops my trinkets. So very simple, very straightforward. I'll show you what that looks like. Come in here. And I'm just going to press Control 3 and watch the cooldown on my trinket here. It's now on cooldown, and you can see that we're in Ascendance form. So it did both in one button press. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. What I showed you with the AtCursor with your totems, you can apply that to your Cap totem. You can apply that to like your Earthbind totem. You can apply that to your Windrush totem. So a lot of the stuff that I showed you can be applied to many different spells. So I'll put the base macros in the description of this video. You guys can check those out. If you enjoyed the video, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. See you guys in the next one.